Hello, everyone. It's Stephanie Stevens. How are you guys doing tonight? Um, I am blogging to you tonight about a story from 2 nights ago that I actually mentioned on the Stephanie Stevens show about my agent, one of my new agents in New York. Um, I didn't tell you where he was positioned at the time, but I can tell you tonight because he said it's okay. Well, I have a new agent in New York, and he's very good. He got me another gig tonight at the last minute as Tina Turner. But 2 nights ago, it just goes to show you that you can't underestimate the children. So tonight on the Stephanie Stevens show, it's the Stephanie Stevens show. 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 Today on the Stephanie Stevens show, thank you guys so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel, Stephanie Stevens T. Today on my show, I am going to talk about never underestimate the young ones, the young children. Sometimes we think they don't know, and you'll be surprised. A few nights ago, my agent told me, actually, I spoke to him 2 weeks ago about a gig he wanted me to do. And he said that he thinks that he could only book me doing my stand-up. He thought that the characters that I do today that the young children would not know, like Tina Turner, Janet Jackson, Dionne Warwick, Patti LaBelle, Eartha Kitt, Pearl Bailey, and I can go on. And because I do so many different people, and I try to do all my different tributes to different people, to some of the favorite celebrities. So I get quite a few gigs as certain celebrities, more with Tina Turner and Janet Jackson and Dionne Warwick with the older people and Janet Jackson with the young kids. But it ranges. So I wanted to blog tonight I did the gig tonight and I took pictures off of about 10 celebrities off of the internet, and I put them on cards tonight for my show. And I put them up on the big screen during my show. And you won't believe this here. I asked the kids who Marilyn Monroe was. And they knew who Marilyn Monroe was. They knew she was dead. But they knew Marilyn Monroe more than they knew Dionne Warwick, Patti LaBelle, or Dolly Parton. Isn't that shocking? But they knew who Marilyn Monroe was. Now, they did know who Tina Turner was because they said their parents listened to Tina Turner and all that. But I was actually shocked when they really didn't know who Madonna was. They heard of Madonna, but they didn't know what she really looked like. They knew that she wore this cone thing, but they weren't sure of what she really looked like. A few of the girls really knew. The boys didn't really know who Madonna was. And I thought that was rather odd. But everybody seems to know who Cher was. I wonder why. They knew Cher and Tina Turner and Janet Jackson in sorta. But it was so strange. These are 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, and they didn't know who Madonna was and Dolly Parton. I was in shock. So I mentioned a few of the other celebrities that I thought they should know. I said, do you guys know Liza Minnelli? They never heard of Liza Minnelli. They didn't even know who Liza Minnelli was. I said, that's Judy Garland's daughter. And they said, who's Judy Garland? I couldn't believe it. It's shocking. It's so weird how we try to educate the kids today about history, but yet they don't even know celebrities. I said, is Liza Minnelli alive or dead? And they said, oh, she's dead. But they didn't know who she was, but they figured she was dead because they didn't know who she was. Shocking. Now, I asked them, how many people in the audience were French? So many of them held their hands up. Part French, half French. And I said, well, do you know who Celine Dion? Everybody seems to know who Celine Dion is. But when I said Edith Piaf, they didn't know who she was. They never heard of her. I was in shock. And then what confused me the most was I asked them about a few boy bands. I said, do you guys know who Menudo is? They said, Menudo, no. The only thing that got close to Menudo was the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. I just didn't understand. And for another thing is the girls seemed to know more who these people were. The boys really didn't know and really didn't care. It was very strange. I asked the boys, do you know who Donna Summers is? They said, nope. I thought, how can you not know Donna Summers? She works hard for the money. And they just looked at me like, half the audience looked at me like I was crazy. Even we had a huge Asian population of young students in the audience tonight, and they didn't know who the hell Donna Summers was. I couldn't believe it. Then I thought, okay, I'm going to try Sting. They didn't know who Sting was. Some of the little rock and roll boys knew, but most of the people in there didn't even know who the hell Sting was. I was shocked. I said, what about R. Kelly? They didn't even know who R. Kelly was. They never heard of him. It was shocking. Then I asked them, Diana Ross. Of course, everybody knows who Diana Ross is, all because first thing they mentioned, glamorous, big hair, and a superstar. They know who she was. Then I asked them, I said, do you know who Michael Bublé is? Of course, all the young white girls know who Michael Bublé is because their parents listened to Michael Bublé. I was in shock. Then I asked them, I said, do you know Tom Jones, Janis Joplin? And they were like, who? I couldn't believe it. It's so strange how these kids don't know any of the real, they know Cher, Tina Turner, Janet Jackson, only because of Michael Jackson. And they know, of course, they knew Diana Ross. But when I asked them who Michael Bublé was, they didn't know that. I thought, the young kids don't listen to nothing but a rap. Of course, I yelled out, do you know who Drake is? Everybody in the room knew who Drake was. And they knew every one of his songs. I asked them, I said, what's one of Tina Turner's songs? Of course, they got that, Private Dancer. They got that one. And then I asked them, I said, what about Diana Ross? They knew a lot of Diana Ross's songs. I asked them, I said, what about Cher? They knew all of Cher's songs. I don't know how, but there must have been a big gay audience tonight, but most people knew all of Cher's songs and who she was. But I asked them, I said, well, what about Madonna? Papa Don't Preach, And they said, oh, that's old music. We don't listen to that. And I thought, oh my God. I said, well, who do you listen to? And they said, Cardi B. And then I said to myself, so she's a rapper. And then I said, well, do you guys listen to Missy Elliott? They didn't even know who Missy Elliott was. The white, they don't know who she is. I couldn't believe it. I said, well, what about Little Kim? They didn't know who she was. I said, well, what about Nicki Minaj? Now, some of them knew who she was, but they never heard of Little Kim or Foxy Brown. They don't even know who they are. It's shocking that these people don't know who these people are. It's almost like they listen to the radio, but they don't. Now, I asked them about some of the country stars, like Dolly Parton. They don't know who Dolly Parton is. They think, some of the girls think Dolly Parton's a drag queen, so they thought she was some famous drag queen or something. I don't know. Then I asked them, do you know who Carrie Underwood is? Some of them knew who Carrie Underwood was, but when I yelled out Kelly Clarkson's name, they all knew who she was. I don't know how. I don't know not one song that's popular that I've listened to by Kelly Clarkson, but Whole Lotta Woman. And I'm thinking, yes, she was an American Idol. Maybe that's why they know her. And I kept thinking to myself, why is it that the kids don't know these people? I think because music is such a phase. One day you're hot, the next day you're not. Like Drake is a phase. He'll come in and come out. Because I asked some of the kids about Sean Puffy Combs. They don't know who that is. They know Jay-Z. They don't know Sean Puffy Combs. I said, how do you not know P. Diddy? Some of the boys knew who P. Diddy was, but they said he hasn't done anything in a long time. They didn't know who I asked them, what did he do? And they said, oh, he was a rapper or mixed clothes or something. It was almost like they didn't know nothing. We need to have a history channel to educate these kids on who these people are. Because it's shocking that when I named quite a few other people, like Loretta Lynn, they didn't know who that was, or Tammy Wynette. They were like, who? Who? But you know who they did know? They knew James Brown. They didn't know what songs he sang, but they knew his name. Strange how this is all playing out. And I thought to myself, it's very strange. This room is 95% white and Asian. A few black people here and there. And for them not to know who these people are was quite shocking to me. It's weird. When I walked out tonight as Tina Turner, they applauded. So they obviously, I must look like this woman for them to know who I am. Because they introduced me as Tina Turner, and I walked out, and the whole place started screaming and yelling and applauding. So obviously, it was recognizable enough to them. But I was rather shocked that they didn't know who Madonna was. It's almost like this woman sells out stadiums, but the young people today only want to see Drake, Cardi B, and what's the other ones? Jaja, I think that's her name. And I don't understand it. How can these kids, what concerts do you go to? So I'm quite shocked. Do you know, if you're out there, let me know. Do you know who 50 Cent is? I think, I didn't ask, but I know most of the kids and most of the men will know who Biggie Smalls is. Most of the guys will know who that is. Now, my next show, I am going to take some pictures of some famous hockey players, basketball players, and football players to my shows to see, because I think that I might do a segment on my show. Do you know who these people are? Do you know these celebrities? And what do you remember that's most famous about them? Because I find it rather shocking that you kids don't know who these people are. And they've made such a remarkable impact on my life and your mom and dad's life and your cousins. And it's shocking when you tell me that you don't know who Dolly Parton is. I don't understand that. And for sure, Madonna. I asked people to raise their hand tonight. Do you know who Patti LaBelle is? 15 people. There's 500 people in this room, and 15 people in here know Patti LaBelle, and it was the black people. I was like in shock. I said, who knows who Tom Jones is? They didn't know who Tom Jones was. They never heard of him. I was in shock. It's quite shocking. Now, they heard of Michael Bublé, but they don't like his music. So they don't really know any of his songs, but they've heard of him, but they don't like his music because they think it's old people's music. That's what I heard a lot tonight, that the music and the people that I were talking to, they said were old people and it was old music and they don't listen or dance to it. Or they can't dance to it. And I thought, well, you dance to Cher. And she's 73 years old. And they said, well, Cher's different. And I didn't understand what they meant by that. And then one girl explained to me that Cher was glamorous and youthful and always looks good. So it was, in other words, it's a visual thing. So they knew who Tina Turner was because they said that she's sexy. And that's all they knew. And they only knew one song. But it's weird how my show tonight, I was in such shock that the kids didn't know who these people were. So each week in my shows, I'm going to start putting up cards to see if these kids or whoever I'm performing for know these people. So I can give you guys a little bit of a history lesson on um, young people not knowing their history, not knowing the celebrities, not really knowing, not following music. So it'll help, I'm sure, iTunes out and all this different kinds of stuff. Because it's shocking to me that these kids don't know who these people are and don't know their music. How do you not know who Donna Summers is? How do you not know? Donna Summers, Shaka Khan, Erica Badu. I mentioned Erica Badu tonight. Not one person put their hands up tonight in the audience. They didn't know who she was. And I said, well, she's an R&B singer, and she wears turbans and she sings with a really eclectic kind of a voice. And so they were looking at me like I was crazy. And they were laughing because they couldn't believe it. When I put the picture of Patti LaBelle up with the old hairdo, they start laughing. But for some reason, some of them knew the hairdo, but they started laughing hysterically from the old Patti LaBelle hairdo. And I thought that was a diva. And they thought it was just some drag queen. It's very funny. Now, when I asked them about Liza Minnelli, because I was really surprised about the Liza Minnelli. I said, now I know you guys know who Liza Minnelli is. New York, and all the. They were looking at me like I was crazy. It was very, 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 very funny tonight. And when I said Judy Garland, they didn't even know who she was. So it's great. It would be great if Oprah Winfrey could do a show with the kids sitting in the audience and bring up the pictures and let the world see if these kids know who these people are, because they don't, and it's quite shocking. And it would be interesting when I mention people like Ella Fitzgerald, Diana Washington, Nancy Wilson, the Pet Shop Boys, Erasure, Book of Love, B-52s. I wonder what these kids know who these people are. Because it's funny how in the club, when they play the 80s music, everybody gets up on the dance floor. Mainly when Michael Jackson comes on. Everybody gets up on the dance floor. Quite shocking. So it amazes me that people will run on the stage for Michael Jackson, but then they don't even know who his sister is. How do you not know who Janet Jackson is? Come on. And it's funny. Oh, well, we know her, but she hasn't done anything in a while. She just put out a new album. I mean, a new song and everything. And most of them, I asked them, I said, well, do you guys know the name of the songs? Nope. We don't know. And it was like, we don't know. We don't care. But if you ask them about Drake or Cardi B or what's the name of it, Post Malone and them other rappers, ask them about them metalheads, like Led Zeppelin and Ozzy Osbourne. They don't know who these people are. We don't know who they are. We don't care. We don't know who they are. It was so funny. They were like looking at me like I was crazy when I was mentioning all these different singers. They were looking at me like, who are you talking about? We don't know these people. We don't care. Put our favorite songs on so we can dance, and that's all to it. And we don't want to hear anything else. And they come in the club, or they tell me, I said, well, what songs do you want to hear tonight by Tina Turner? And they were saying all the really old songs, like Private Dancer and The Best, Steamy Windows, What's Love Got to Do with It, Let's Stay Together. And so I was doing those songs for them tonight, and they were going crazy. And it was great because I made mixes for all of these. So basically, I didn't have to do them all one at a time. I had them already all mixed. And the kids were up out their seats and having a good old time and singing some of them with the songs, which was good to see. But it was just very shocking. Now I asked them, they knew who Jennifer Lopez was, but they didn't know what her songs were. I said, well, what's some of her songs? And then then you hear the audience go quiet. It's very funny. I just don't understand it. And but anyway, that was my rant for tonight. So just so you guys know, I am going to be doing a show each week on do you know who these celebrities are? And can you name some of their favorite songs or what they're famous for? Because I know Oprah does a show called Where Are They Now? And all this kind of stuff. And I just thought that's such a great show when I watch it, because I get to see some of the old celebrities and where they are and what they're doing now. And it's great to see that a lot of them are still doing well, even after their careers are over or they're not doing as much in TV or nothing. But it's good to see where they are now. And it's great that Oprah has done that show. It would be great if I can try to do this here with my show, with my busy schedule now. Things seem to be doing really well with the Stephanie Stevens T on YouTube. Thank you guys so much on Twitter. Thank you, because the bookings, I'm blessed. So maybe this was a blessing with me getting on Twitter and now putting things on YouTube. I'm getting more and more and more work. So every other day I'm booked. So now I'm finding it a challenge to keep up with the blogging, but I'm going to try to do that for you. I have 2 new episodes coming out this week: Black Love and Gay Men Over 50 with Love, Relationships, and Retirement, and my blog tonight. So you will get those 3 shows this week. I'm really busy this week, but the following week I am going to do several different shows. I'm doing a show called Pillow Talk with 5 drag queens. So we're going to sit around and talk about boys. Okay? That's coming. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Stephanie Stevens Show. It's the Stephanie Stevens Show. The Stephanie Stevens Show. It's the Stephanie Stevens Show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and good night. Get your history books out. I'm going to quiz you. Okay? Over and out, everybody. Good night.